Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is KDRTV, and today's topic is on health focus. We are very happy again that we've got Mr. Akuma in the studio. He's a health consultant. So before we really go deeper into this, let's look at some facts from the Minnesota Health Department. The Minnesota State Demographer's Office projects the total number of older adults, that is 65 and older, to double between 2010 and 2030. By then, more than 1 in 5 Minnesotans will be older adults, including all baby boomers. All race groups have grown recently in Minnesota, and between 2010 and 2015, the state of Minnesota has added 4 times as many people of color as non-Hispanic white residents. Between 2010 and 2015, the fastest growing racial groups in Minnesota was the Asian American population, adding nearly 48,000 people. The second fastest was the black population, which added nearly 45,000, and the Hispanic population added 32,000 people. As the population of aging adults increase, so will be the number of adults with dementia. The Minnesota Board of Aging sponsored an initiative to prepare communities for this influx of those impacted by dementia from the various ethnic minorities, immigrant, Native American communities, by training members from those communities to become cultural consultants in dementia. Today we are joined by Mr. Bill Akuma, a cultural consultant from East and Central Africa community. Mr. Akuma is a member of Leading Age Minnesota, Empira Organization, Presbyterian Homes and Services, Alzheimer's Association of Minnesota. Bill holds a master's an MBA from University of California, a leadership certificate from Leading Age Minnesota, a certificate of long-term care management from St. Joseph's, Maine, a certified REACH coach, and is a healthcare practitioner and a researcher who has done extensive work on sleep, falls, sundowning, as it relates to dementia. He's also a cultural consultant from the East African community. He speaks 5 languages, and an example is English, Kiswahili, and Kisi. So today, we are very privileged to have him in our studios. Mr. Bill Akuma, welcome to KDR TV.
Thank you.
We are very happy actually having you here. We've got a few questions we really need you to tell us, because you are a consultant in this particular area. So the first question is, what is a cultural consultant in dementia care?
Thanks for asking that question. That's a very
or who is a cultural consultant in dementia care? Whichever.
Yes, a cultural consultant is a community member with extensive knowledge of their culture and how services can best be delivered to meet the needs of that particular community. We come from a variety of backgrounds, life experiences, and over a wide range of professional services. As a cultural consultant for example, East African community, I am able to help the people from these communities to navigate and to really understand the disease itself. So once that is done, then we also help them be able to know how to approach them, because it's very difficult. People that have dementia, they are very difficult to communicate. So we help them understand that language of communication, because a lot of times people with dementia communicate non-verbally. They will act, and then we call that a behavior. And through the research, we know that in order for us to be human, we have to exhibit some behaviors, because behavior is the only criteria of being human.
Thank you.
That was an interesting aspect of research that I just came to find out. So when somebody with dementia is saying, for example, I want to go home. And where they are speaking from is their home. What are you supposed to do? So as a caregiver and as a cultural consultant, we help you understand that form of communication, when they are saying they want to go home, it is actually saying to you that there is an unmet need. There is something that they are trying to ask you to help them to do. For example, they will also start saying that, you know, I want to go see my mother. Or I want to go see my husband. And you know very well the husband passed away like years ago. You don't tell them that the husband passed away. You validate. That is the essence of validation is to meet them where they are. You don't argue with them. Those are some of the things that we help them understand, the caregivers understand, because we know they have a burden of taking care of their loved ones.
Then what is dementia and how does it actually differentiate from senior moments or aging?
Yeah, I won't go into more of the clinical aspect of it, but I'll just say in simple words, dementia is a general term that describes the symptoms that are severe enough to interfere with daily activities. Whereas forgetting or misplacing things like keys and forgetting even their name, forgetting their children, and those things from time to time are signs of mild forgetfulness and as part of normal aging. So I could also go further and say in 2 words, dementia is simple brain failure. So when your brain has failed, then that is a symptom of it. I'll give you an example again, is like saying your car engine has failed. You don't go inside to try to fix it. You take it to the expert. The same thing. So I'm talking to my community that when you see these symptoms, please seek help from a professional that is trained in dementia.
Then what are some of the signs of somebody who is suffering from dementia, and what should we actually look for?
Simply, these are some of the, as I mentioned earlier, some of the symptoms are things like forgetting, forgetting even their name, forgetting that you are the firstborn, forgetting even when they were born, forgetting that they are at home, forgetting their car keys. They don't when they put the stove on, they leave it on. They go to the bathroom, they don't flush the toilet. All those simple things we see as simple as signs of that mild dementia or cognition that you will look for. So there are so many symptoms that I can go on and go on, but these simple ones are the ones that are always apparent to us as we continue taking care of our loved ones.
Thank you. Does everyone with dementia have Alzheimer's disease?
No. There are approximately 10 types of memory disease. But Alzheimer's is the most common form of these memory diseases. So look at the dementia as an umbrella term. Underneath the umbrella, we have Alzheimer's, we have Parkinson's disease, we have Lewy body, and go on and go on. So, as I said, no, there are approximately more than 10 types, and Alzheimer's is one of them.
Thank you. Why does culture make a difference when it comes to understanding dementia care for the, let's say, for the East African community?
From the cultural aspect, we do have some norms. We do have some cultural understanding that are different from the people from the West, from the East. They are different based on where they have been. So most of us have that stigma, saying that dementia is a disease of the West, meaning people that have come from the East, they cannot have dementia. They are only crazy. But I'm here to tell them, to tell our community members that when you talk about being crazy, yes, you can, because where I came from, when I saw people walking naked on the road and doing all this stuff, I said they're crazy. So we kept on walking away from them. But when I came to this country and really experienced and trained and got trained about it, I've come to realize that the dementia does not discriminate. It is a disease that is there for everybody. So I'm here to say that we need to understand and take away the stigma and saying that dementia is only a disease of the West, if you will.
Thank you. Are there other ways the community is impacted by persons with dementia?
Yes, they are. We need to be mindful of our aging caregivers population, as well as the shortage of caregivers in our communities. Because what I have come to realize that besides the person with dementia, the people that are taking care of the people with dementia are actually more burdened than even the people that have dementia themselves. So helping them navigate, help them understand how they can get all the resources, or how they can try to solve the problems, like approach, communication, and all this will help them. It's also, we will be more dependent on the outside help and need to better inform those caregivers from East Africa communities and the medical community about the nuances of our cultural practices and beliefs when it comes to caring for our members with dementia. So it's about time we took away those stigmas, those cultural beliefs, and know that this is real, and it is real, and it's gonna hit us so fast. So we have to be mindful of that and really know that if you have somebody with dementia in your household, or you are doubting, please go seek help from people that have the experience.
Okay. How does one learn more about getting help for someone that might have dementia?
Yeah, as I said a few minutes ago, is first of all, if you are concerned about your memory, or you're concerned about someone else with memory, for example, in our community, make an appointment and get seen by a healthcare professional, especially those people that have specialized in the memory care aspect of it. So don't just pull back. Please go and get checked. It will help, and it will solve a lot of problems down the road.
Thank you. Do you have some resources people can go to?
Yes, I do, and I really thank Minnesota Board of Aging for opening this up, because it is needed, and it is needed, and it is even needed more. Some of the resources that I will pull out there is a place like a senior linkage line. It's a line. It's an 800 number, and the number is 1-800-333-2433. And I will repeat that, 1-800-333-2433. There is also another line that you can get help from. It's called Metro Area Agency on Aging. And it's aging that is under the metroaging.org organization, and it has areas that it serves, and if you go to metroaging.org, you can see that. There is also an website that I can give here. It is www.caregiving.org. And if you go to that website, you can also get some help. There's also Alzheimer's Association of Minnesota and North Dakota. And this, the number is 1-800-272-3900, 1-800-272-3900. And you can contact me if you need help, and my personal website is coming up soon, but I can be reached through my two email addresses. One is upliftedcareservices.com, and then wakuma2006@yahoo.com. And then my phone number is, I'll give it up here, it is 612-978-7620. 612-978-7620.
Thank you very much, Mr. Akuma, for your opportunity. And we would also love to learn more about sleep. So can you really briefly tell us anything about sleep?
Oh, yes, I can do that. Sleep is a very interesting topic. And I did research. For the last 6 years, I've been doing research as it relates to sleep. I've even gone further to really look at what does even the Bible says about sleep. And I've come to realize that sleep is very important. In order for you to be a complete and healthy human being, you have to be able to sleep well. And you don't need medication really to sleep unless you are doing something wrong. Because in order for you to be able to sleep, there are two things that needs to happen. There is a melatonin and a serotonin. Melatonin is a hormone in your pineal gland, right in the center of your brain. That is where melatonin is secreted. And then during the day, you are supposed to secrete what we call serotonin. It's a chemical into your intestine. We call it a digestive agent. And I've always wondered why people in Minnesota during winter, they are very crabby. You know why? Because of lack of serotonin. That's why I said serotonin is a happy, feel-good type of chemical that helps us to navigate. So these two things have to balance. So it's a topic that I can go on, and I will just leave it there. But sleep, I'm just going to say here that sleep is very important, and it is one of the things that if you believe in the Bible, and it is mentioned so many times in the Bible, even in other biblical books like the Quran, it's mentioned in so many places that I can go. But it is very, very important. And people always ask, for example, when I was in Chicago last month, they asked me, how many hours am I supposed to be sleeping? It's a very interesting question, but ideally, as a normal human being, you're supposed to sleep 7.5 hours uninterrupted. And then if you can't sleep well, like people from my community, I'm just gonna single you out, saying, okay, let's say you work a PM shift. You get home at 11 p.m. Then you cook the ugali, or you cook the food that we eat, and with chicken, right, or with beef, and then you eat at 11. By midnight is when you are finishing eating, and you are supposed to wake up at 5 a.m. Are you going to be really sleeping? Because there is what we call the human biological clock. The melatonin starts working 8 p.m. to 8 a.m. Serotonin starts working from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. So once melatonin is starting working, serotonin is suppressed. So once it is suppressed, then your digestive system will not work because it is already suppressed unless you force it. That is why sometimes during the day you are taking a nap, and all of a sudden when you wake up you have a headache. And have you ever wondered why? It's because during the day you are not really supposed to sleep. So, but because melatonin is very friendly, you force it to come from where it is, and it helps you to sleep. So when you wake up, it's like, okay, you forced me, so this is not the time you're supposed to sleep. So that's why you're having a headache, because you have forced melatonin to come down to help you sleep, and then you suppress serotonin at the same time. So it is a topic that I will continue, but we will stay tuned. It's going to come in the near future here.
Thank you very much, Mr. Akuma.
Thank you.
I appreciate your time.
Thank you.
And from the KDRTV, this is Omweri Kebwato. Thank you again. Once more, we'll be bringing you more topics on health. And have a wonderful evening. Goodbye.